Hey guys, how are all of you? I'm sure you're having a wonderful time in your life and career. My great wishes always for all of you. One of the most underrated questions in any interview setting or an interview, be it a telephonic discussion or a face-to-face interview, is a rather very mundane sounding question. Tell me something more about you. What is the best way to answer such a question? You might ask me, well, I'm not at an entry level, I'm at the middle or senior level, and things like that. But irrespective of what level of your career you are in, I think the fact remains that this is the kind of a question which allows you to give an excellent opening shot. If you play it well, you'll play a sixer and make sure that you get hired for the role. How do you do that? Here are some very simple tips to answer such a question. Number one, don't keep talking about what is already there in your CV. The hiring manager or the HR person has already read your CV completely, and he's aware of whom he's talking to as a persona. So you essentially have to communicate more than what is written in your profile. What more do you want to say? Why are you good for that particular role? In what way are you much better than about 20 other people who are waiting outside in the lobby for that particular role? What are your accomplishments till date? What are your highlights in your career? What do you think you've achieved in life till now? So try and word your answer in such a way that you emphatically communicate all this to the hiring manager or whomever is interviewing. It is a very important question. The most important thing is when you face such a question, immediately get very enthusiastic. Normally what happens is we all get put off when such a question is asked. We think what a mundane question is why do people ask me more than what is written already there? And a whole lot of times I, as an interviewer, have seen people saying, well, it's all written in the CV, what do you want to know, you ask me. That will be a major put off for the hiring manager, because number one, it shows that you are closed and you're not willing to communicate and open up more, because that is the opening question which he, depending on how you answer the question, he wants to ask more and more pointed and leading questions depending on how you answer that. So if you kind of give a very closed answer to that question, the chances are that you will not be hired for that particular role, or your chances are not going to be better than somebody who answered that questions very well. So remember, tell me something about yourself is not a mundane question. It is a very powerful question if you can answer it in a very powerful way. And how do you make it powerful? As I told you earlier, take this question very seriously. See how well you can answer the question. See how well you can talk about your accomplishments, how well you are equipped to do the role, what are your skill sets to handle the role, and how have you exhibited those skill sets in the past. These are very important pointers as to how you can answer that question. Ideally, I would say you should take 3 to 5 minutes to answer such a question. Start off by saying what is not written in the CV, something good about you, something good about your college accomplishments. You word it in such a way that, well, I've not written it in my CV, but I topped my class in right from schooling. I've been a topper in my class. You tell them you're an excellent communicator, you're an excellent team player, you captained the school houses in a number of cases, what you did in college. So all this can be packed in that reply which you give to your interviewer, and the interviewer for sure is going to be impressed by your ability to put things in a nutshell. Understand this. The question is asked to see or judge a number of things. Number one, how are you communicating? Number two, how are you able to communicate in a very concise and precise manner? Number three, how are you communicating relevant things and things which are, if I can say, bullet pointed, if you have to use PowerPoint language. And four, how are you kind of willing to engage in a dialogue or communicate with somebody who's not known or whom you're meeting for the first time? That also shows your abilities, your social skills, your ability to converse with strangers, your ability to converse with people of different hues and color in your team. So it is such a very important question, and I would think even in globally and in the Indian interview scenario, the HR scenario as well, most people take this first question for granted, and that is the reason most of you don't get hired. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you're not qualified or you're not skilled to get the job. I'm only saying that because your reply to this question is very closed, you're not giving room for more questions, you're not giving room for more dialogue, and in fact If your question for this particular, if your answer for this particular question is going to be wrong, the chances are that you're going to end the interview very fast and get out of the cabin. So obviously, when there is not much to talk, when you've not showcased yourselves better, the chances of getting hired for that role are going to be very, very bleak. You always keep this in mind. It is an opening question. It is a very, very powerful question. The question is testing a number of your skills, your ability to communicate, your ability to articulate things, your ability to quickly communicate what is relevant to the discussion. So everything is being judged in this singular answer. You would have noticed that I keep using the word relevant whenever we talk about answers to this particular question. Why I'm saying it is relevant, don't stray away to unnecessary things which are not completely relevant to the role or the job on hand or what the interview is looking at. Don't stray into personal affairs, don't stray into your hobbies, don't stray into things like that. Go work out in the gym, I'm a basketball player. All that is not going to matter in the job. What matters in the job is what have you done in the past which shows that or which showcases your ability that you will do well on this particular role. That can be put in this answer. Number 2, what are your top skills, top 3 skills, and how are you going to showcase those skills in respect of this hiring role or the role for which you attended the interview. Forget the level you are in. If you're a CXO, you're talking about decision making, you're talking about strategy, you're talking about the ability to see a macro scenario. If you talk about middle management, then you talk about team management, your ability to carry large teams, how well you're performed in teams, and how well you lifted up people in your team who've not done particularly well in comparison to others. And if you're on the entry level, what are your education qualifications? How well did you do it in the campus? Did you come out of the CRP, campus recruitment program, with flying colors? Are there any competitions in communication, presentations, or other skills which you won? So depending on which point of your career you are in, you're going to be able to power pack all these points in that particular answer and give it as a reply. So remember, never underestimate the power of this opening question. It is an extremely powerful opening question, and the answer to that question is going to keep the entire dialogue vis-a-vis the interview extremely healthy. And purely the longevity of how long your interview will go on and whether you'll be hired or not depends on the answer to this particular question. So keep all this in mind. We can go on and on about it, but these are some of the points which you have to keep in mind when you answer this question. And be confident in answering your questions. Never mind about your vocabulary or flowery language. Put it in your style, in effective language. And if you're not good in English, I think try and even use your local language intermittently. All you need to showcase is the skills which are required for the job, your ability to deliver on the job, and impress the HR manager or the hiring manager in reply to this particular question. So this is in a nutshell what you should do when you're faced with the question. And for sure you'll do well in any interview if you can answer this question well. Thanks for your time. Do subscribe to this channel for a lot of interesting nuggets on this both life and career. Have a great week ahead, and thank you.